Hello everyone, welcome to our easy guide to English section. So today we are going to start adverb. So far we have covered some of the core building blocks of the English language and you've understood how precise English grammar is not only important for a good score in the examination, but it is also inevitable in shaping the clarity of your communication. So we have already done noun, pronoun, adjectives, and today we are going to get introduced to a new building block of the grammar, that is adverb. It often goes unnoticed, but trust me, it does a lot of heavy lifting. Now, in order to introduce adverb, let's start talking about verb. Now, imagine a verb. Let's say run. I run. Okay, it's plain and simple. But if I want to add some more spice to it, I want to ask where do I run? When do I run? How frequently? So in order to add those spices, we need adverb. Now the plain verb that was I run becomes more spicy. I run every day. I run towards the finish line. I run quickly. So these adverbs are modifying these verbs. So they give more depth, more context to the language. So it is in this context that we'll understand what adverb is, what are the various types of adverbs, and how the placement of adverb is a very important function of English grammar. Okay, so let's start with the definition. An adverb is a word that adds more information about how, when, where, and to what extent something happens. Something happens is verb here. Okay, so in short, an adverb modifies or adds details to a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. For example, she is walking slowly. Here, the walking is verb. How is she walking? She is walking slowly. So here, slowly is modifying the verb walking here. She is very intelligent. So here, the word very is an adverb that is modifying the adjective intelligent here. She is walking very slowly. Here again, the adverb slowly is modifying the verb walking, while the adverb very is modifying the adverb slowly. So, like the definition said, an adverb is something that adds information to or modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Okay, I hope you understood what adverb is. Now let's try to understand what are the various types of adverbs. Okay, so in this way we will be able to understand various phases of adverb. So an adverb can be an adverb of time. It tells when something is happening. So before, ago, lately, yet, now, soon, yesterday, already, never. These are all adverbs of time. Second category is adverb of frequency. So it tells how often something is happening. Is it happening always? Is it happening just once? Or does it happen seldom? Or does it happen usually, rarely, etc.? These are adverbs of frequency. Similarly, adverbs of place. They tell where something is happening. Here, everywhere, down, near, away, backward. So these are some of the examples of adverbs of places. Fourth category is adverbs of manner. It tells how something is happening. It answers the questions of how. So is it happening slowly? Is it happening delightfully? Is it happening soundly? So these are the adverbs that are telling the nature of how things are happening. The fifth category is adverb of affirmation and negation. So whether something is happening or not, true or false. Affirmation is true or something is happening. A negation is false, something is not happening. So the words like certainly, apparently, obviously, never, undoubtedly, these are the adverbs of affirmation and negation. Similarly, the adverb of degree. So it tells how to what extent something is happening. So is it happening, almost happening, it's completely, fully happening, very, enough, rather, quite, too, really. So these are all telling the extent to which something is happening. So these words are adverbs of degree. Seven categories, adverbs of interrogative adverb. So, like the word interrogation, the word interrogative reflects question. So, how, what, when, why? When you want to ask some questions, these are the adverbs that come handy in asking question. So, and the eighth category is relative adverb. They are used in joining two clauses: when, where, why, how. So, relative adverbs like I told you that they are used to join two clauses. For example, he was born in the year when I left India. So here, when is joining the first part and the second part of the sentence. That he was born in the year is one clause telling of the year, and him leaving India is the second clause. So these two clauses are joined by the adverb when. Similarly, in the statement, he does not like to stay at the hotel where they are staying. So there are two clauses. That one thing is that he does not like to stay in that hotel, and the second thing is they are staying. So these two parts are being joined by the adverb where. So at which, in which, or where. Don't you know the reason why she did not marry? So here again, don't you know the reason and why she did not marry are being joined by the adverb, that is why. So these kind of adverbs are relative adverbs. Similarly, you are supposed to know the manner how they cheated you. So here how is adding the two clauses. You are supposed to know the manner and they cheated you. So these are the adverbs that join two clauses. Okay. So with this, we have understood the various categories of adverb. Like I've told you in before also, you don't need to remember these categories, but you just get an idea. So you will be able to identify various adverbs if you come across them. Like you'll know what different type of functions they are performing. They perform the function of telling the time, the number of times, where, how, and all those things. So you'll be able to identify them better. So it's for this purpose that I introduced the categories of the concepts that we study. Okay, so you don't need to remember the categories. Okay, just remember what are the various functions that adverbs are performing, and so you can identify them easily. Now, we get to the rule. So the rule 1 says an adjective qualifies a noun and a pronoun, whereas an adverb modifies a verb, an adjective, and an adverb, pretty much following what the definition was. So we have done this differentiation between adjective and adverb in the previous lectures as well. But since it's something important and often confuses students, so we'll do this again here. So what adjective does is, as is clear from the name, it describes a noun or a pronoun. Think of it like giving qualities to people, place, or things. So, for example, she is a smart girl. Here, smart describes the noun girl. So, smart is an adjective. Her act was remarkable. So, the word remarkable describes the noun act. So, these are adjective. Now, what are the adverb then? Adverb describes a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. It adds information about how, when, where, and to what extent, like we saw right now. So, she acted remarkably to achieve success. Now, here, remarkably is telling you how she acted. How, I mean, the action is being modified by the word remarkably. Okay. So here is a quick trick to identify what adjective is and what adverb is, but be mindful of the fact that it is generally true, but it is not always true. So if the word is ending with able, able, ous, us, then it is, and most likely it is an adjective. Or if it is ending with li, it is more likely it is a adverb. So like quickly, softly, or an adjective like beautiful, serious. So this is there. But take this with a pinch of salt because it is not true always. It can, I mean, it is generally true, but not always. So just remember this with this caution. Okay. Now, rule 2. Adverb of time and frequency tell us how often, how regularly, and when something is happening. So some of the examples of adverb of time are at always, never, often, usually, sometimes, already, just, seldom, rarely. Okay. So these adverbs are generally placed just before the main verb in the sentence. So if, I mean, it's commonsensical also. If something is telling the time or frequency of something, so that should be placed just before that something. No, here if the adverb of time is modifying the verb, so main, it should be placed just before the main verb, no, so that it can impact that main verb. Now let's look at the example to understand this better. For example, my brother comes often every Sunday. Here the word often is not placed correctly. How it should be placed? My brother often comes every Sunday. Yeah, so the word often is the adverb and comes is the verb. So often should be placed just before the verb, the main verb, that is comes. Okay. He goes usually to movie every Friday. Here again, the word usually is your adverb of time because it is telling the frequency of something of his going to movie. So the word, the adverb of time should be placed just before the main verb. The main verb here is going. So he usually goes to the movie every Friday. He never talks ill of his friend. So talks is the main verb and never is the adverb of time because the word never is modifying the main verb talks. It is telling the frequency. It never happens. So the placement of never just before the main verb talks is correct. So this is the correct statement. He is always satisfied. Now what is the adverb here? And what is the verb here? So the adverb here is always because the adverb here is telling the frequency, like how frequently is he satisfied, and the satisfied here is the verb. So he is always satisfied. The adverb being placed, the adverb of time being placed just before the main word. So hence it is a correct state. Okay, I hope you've understood this rule. If the verb is be or the form of be, say is, am, are, was, were, the adverb will come after the verb. Okay, so she is always calm. They are never late. So contrary to the previous rule where the adverb of time and frequency is there, then it will be mentioned before the main verb. But if the verb is be or any form of be, then the adverb will be placed after the verb. Okay, she is always calm. They are never late. Okay, so be mindful of the kind of verb there is. Now, rule 3, and pay attention to this one. So, because this one can be a little confusing at times. So, adverbs of manner are placed only after the intransitive verb. However, the adverb can be placed either before or after the transitive verb. Now, what are the adverb of manners? The adverb of manner are something that tells how something is happening or nature of something. So, how is it happening? Is it happening quickly? Is it happening loudly? Is it happening briefly? So, they usually describe the how of something is happening. Okay. Now, what is intransitive verb? A verb that doesn't need a direct object. For example, sleep, run, arrive. In order to better understand what intransitive verb is, we need to first understand what is transitive verb. A transitive verb is a verb that needs a direct object. For example, narrate, tell, eat. Now, for narration, you have to have somebody, an object of narration, somebody to whom this narration is done. In order to tell, you have to have somebody who is listening. Only then the telling can be done. So the transitive verbs are the verbs that have to have some direct object. Similarly, eat, you have to have some object. You cannot be just eating without an object. So these are transitive verbs. And as the word is very much clear from intransitive, which means it doesn't need a direct object. Now let's read the rule once again. So the adverb of manners are placed only after the intransitive verb, but the adverb can be placed either before or after the transitive verb. Okay, let's try to understand this with the help of examples. Now, the first part of the rule, adverbs after intransitive verb. When the verb is intransitive, the adverbs of manner usually go after the verb. So he returned immediately. Now, return is a intransitive verb. It doesn't require any direct object. Returning can be done without any direct object. I mean, it doesn't require any direct object. So this is an intransitive verb. And the rule says when there is an intransitive verb, the adverb will be placed after it. So he came back. How did he return? Immediately. The immediately is the adverb here and it is placed after the intransitive verb returned. The adverb, now the second part of the rule, the adverbs before or after transitive verb. When there is a transitive verb, it can be before also, it can be after also. So, for example, he briefly narrated the incident to me. Now, narration is something that requires an object. So, the word narrated is a transitive verb. So, here the word briefly can be placed before also, or if there were any other adverb, it can be placed after also. So, in this statement, the word briefly is the adverb that is placed before the transitive verb. So he briefly narrated the incident to me. How did he narrate the incident? Briefly. Similarly, in the second example, he narrated the incident briefly to me. So it can be placed before also, it can be placed after also. He told me about the incident briefly. How did he narrate? Briefly. So you just have to see the type of verb it is. If it is transitive or is it intransitive? Does it require an object or does it not require an object directly? So the placement of the adverb can be done accordingly. Okay. So some of the common mistakes that students commit are, for example, this statement, he soundly slept last night. Here, the word soundly shouldn't come after the word slept because it is an intransitive. The slept doesn't require any direct object. One can just sleep. Like, does it? There is no need of any other object to complete this verb. So in this case, the word soundly should be placed after it. So he slept soundly last night. He slept well. How did he sleep? Soundly. The soundly is the adverb that is modifying the word sleep. So simple summary of this rule is, if it is intransitive verb, that is, it doesn't require an object, then place the adverb after the verb. If it is a transitive verb, that is, it requires an object, so you can place the adverb before or after. Both are correct. Okay. Now, let's look at our fourth rule for a fit verb that requires the use of else, other, and otherwise. We'll try to understand how we use these adverbs. So case 1, else. So else is followed by but. When you use the word else, it is usually followed by but. Because the word else here means no one else except. So, for example, nobody else but Ria knows the truth. That means that Ria is the only person who knows the truth. No one except her knows the truth. So, every time you use the word else, you have to follow it with but. Similarly, who else but you could have done this? That means there is no one person, but you are that one exception who could have done this. So it is correct. A lot of times students say else than, which is wrong. Nobody else than Ria knows the truth. It would have been wrong. The else will always be followed by but. Else but. Else but. Okay. Now the word other. Other is always followed by than. When you use other, it is followed by than to make the comparison. So it shows an exception or differences. He has no friends other than you. So here the word other has to be followed by than. Okay. So he has no other friends, just you. You are those, like you are that person who is his friend. So other than. There is no way other than hard work. But sometimes students say there he has no friends but you. But is wrong because but is followed by else and not here. It is not correct here. Okay. For other, you have to follow it with that. Similarly, for otherwise, it is also followed by than. So in he cannot behave otherwise than rudely. So that means that only way he can behave is rudely. It is showing that there is no different. There is no other way. So situation cannot be dealt with otherwise than strictly. So the only way to deal with the situation is strictly. So saying he cannot behave otherwise but rudely would be wrong. Otherwise than. Otherwise than. Other than. Else but. Okay, so just three things you have to remember in this rule. Else followed by but, other followed by than, otherwise followed by than. Okay. So let's try to do this exercise based on this rule so that we can understand what kind of mistakes can be committed or how we can avoid it, or if we have understood the rule properly or not. So I'll wait for a few seconds, pause the video at this point and just quickly go through this exercise. Okay, so let's try to solve this question together now. Nobody else dash her was present in the meeting. Now we know else is always followed by than, right? No, of course not. Else is followed by but. Nobody else but her was present in the meeting. That she was the only one present. No one else came. He has no other option dash to accept the offer. So other is followed by than. He has no other option than to accept the offer. There is no book dash this that explains the concept clearly. There is no book other than this that explains the concept clearly. What else dash a miracle can save him now? What else but a miracle? So there can only be a miracle that can save him now. So all the other possibilities uh, are over. So no, what else but a miracle can save him now? She never speaks dash in anger. She never speaks otherwise than in anger. He cannot think but selfishly. No, but is always followed by else. So he cannot think other than selfishly. No one else than you believed in him. Sounds correct? No. No one else but you believed in him. So you were the only one who believed in him. There is no one I trust. There is no one I trust but you. There is no one I trust other than you. So this is the solution. Okay. Now let's get to rule 5. So you don't use never instead of not. Both never and not are adverbs and they help in negating, that is, making a sentence negative, but they are not interchangeable. A lot of times students commit this mistake that they use these two words interchangeably. So the word not means no. At this point, it is not true. You want to deny a fact or action. But the word never means at no time was this true. It was not true in past. It is not true now. It will not be true in future. So you want to say something has never happened and it will not, and it has never happened even once. So this is the difference. Now, I never am late to school. This is wrong. Never cannot come after am anyway. So either you can say I am not late to school when you want to talk about just the present, that I'm not late to school. Say today. Or if you want to say I'm never late to school, then you use never after am and you say I'm never late to school. That means I've never been late to school. Not even once in these many days has been a single day that I've been late to school. Sounds very difficult, but maybe some people. Anyway, I do not like an onion. I mean, not here it should be not. That means I do not like an onion. I might have liked it, but at this point I don't like it. She's not going to the party. Or I have never been to Kashmir. So I've never been to Kashmir. It has never happened even once that I've seen Kashmir. He will never lie to you. So not and never. They are used, they cannot be used interchangeably. One thing, and the second thing is they should not be used together also. No two negative words should be used in one sentence. So she is never happy. It is incorrect. She is never, sorry, she never is happy is incorrect. She is never happy is the correct. I never don't like pizza. So two negatives. I never don't like pizza. I mean, it cancels each other. So the right thing would be I always like pizza. Instead of double negatives, you call it always. He never did not come. What does that mean? He always came. So don't use two negatives. One thing and a second thing, do not interchange not and never. They have different meanings. Now, let's try to quickly go through this and see where the word never is suitable and where the word not is suitable. So I'll again pause for a few seconds, just go through this. It's a very, very easy exercise. Okay, let's do this quickly. I am dash going to lie to you. I am never going to lie to you. I am not going to lie to you is also possible. But the fact is, if I do not plan on lying to you ever, then I will say I am never going to lie to you. If I am just thinking I'm today, I am not going to lie to you. So I am not going to lie to you today. So it depends on the context. She is dash interested in sports. She is not interested in sports. So it is talking about the present. It is very much visible from the like context. She is not interested in sports. She is interested in debating. It could be something of that sort. He has dash visited the Taj Mahal. So he has never visited the Taj Mahal. That it has never happened even once. He has not visited the Taj Mahal doesn't make sense. That it's not one day thing or something. So it means that if somebody has not visited the Taj Mahal even once, the word is never that should be used. They do dash want to leave early. They do not want to leave early because talking about the present at this moment, they do not want to leave early. So it's in the present context. We are dash allowed to talk in the library. We are not allowed to talk in the library. So at this point, somebody says meets you in the library and they tell you that we're not allowed to talk in the library, so you better talk here. I will dash forget your kindness. I will never forget your kindness. Somebody says, no, that I will never forget your kindness. You've been so nice to me. This is going to stay with me forever. So I will never forget your kindness because this is going to stay forever. So the word never will be used here. I have dash seen such a beautiful sunset. I have never seen. This is the first time I'm seeing this beautiful sunset. So I have never seen such a beautiful sunset. That is dash correct. That is not correct. So I'm talking about present. At this point, I'm seeing that this is not correct. So you see the difference between never and not. You must dash be rude. You must not be rude. So I'm not talking about since eternity, what has been, forever, what will be. I'm talking about right now. You must not be rude. So like that. I have never not done that before. Is it correct or not? I've never not done that before. Like two negatives can never be together. So it's incorrect. Double negatives is wrong. Okay, so this is the solution. Have a look at it and let's move ahead with rule 6. So the correct use of common negative phrases. Some special phrases are there that we'll go through in the slide, and you just have to see that these phrases are used with this. For example, seldom or never. This is a phrase, how it is used. So the phrase is seldom or never. It means almost never, very rare or not at all. So, for example, he seldom or never arrives on time. So he's pretty much a late comer. So he's almost never arrives on time. Maybe once out of 10 times he might have, but he almost never arrives on time. So seldom or never. Seldom, if ever. So rarely if it happens at all. We seldom, if ever, eat junk food. So in the first part, it is more negative, and the second part is slightly positive. So that is the difference. But the seldom or never, that is one phrase. The seldom, if ever, is another. Seldom or ever would be wrong. Yeah, seldom, if never would also be wrong. So you have to be mindful of how these phrases are used. Similarly, little or nothing. It means almost nothing. He did little or nothing to help. He almost did nothing to help. Like he just maybe moved here and there, made one reluctant call, but he didn't do much. Like barely he did anything to help. So it's more very strongly negative. Little, if anything. So hardly anything. She said little, if anything, to defend herself. Again, it is pretty much the same thing, but it is relatively less negative. Relatively less negative. So there's very little difference between them, but there's a difference in tonalities. The seldom or never is more negative. Little or nothing, again, is more negative. You see the word never. You see the word nothing. So you get a sense that these are more negative, and seldom, if ever, or little, if anything, are relatively more positive, while they all means very less. Okay. Now, if you say seldom or ever, it just doesn't make any sense. It is wrong. Yeah, little or anything. Again, it doesn't make any sense. It is also grammatically wrong. So you have to see how these are used. Seldom or never. Like it's almost like statistically speaking, once in 10 times or something of that sort. So seldom or never, or seldom, if ever. Little or nothing, little, if anything. Okay. Now choose the correct phrases from the options in the bracket. So just try to go through this and see if you have understood what these phrases are, or the what sense these phrases evoke in a statement. So I mean, try to do it on your own. Just pause the video here. Okay, I think you might have attempted the questions, and they are pretty simple. He dash speaks in public. He seldom or never. He seldom or ever. He seldom or never speaks in public. That means he speaks like, again, once in 10 times, like he very rarely speaks in public. Or seldom or ever would mean that he like maybe 2-3 times in 10 times, something of that sort. We dash know about his past. We little or nothing know about his past. We little or anything know about his past. We little or nothing know about his past. So it's almost close to nothing that we know about his past. So the correct pairing shows that there is almost no knowledge about his past. Okay. She seldom, if ever, goes to parties. She seldom, if anything. Seldom, if anything, is not no such thing as seldom, if anything. Seldom, if ever, she goes to the party. That means she might have been to a party once or twice. It's not like she has never been to a party, but like almost never. So correct is seldom, if ever. Sorry. I did dash to prepare. I did little or nothing to prepare, little or anything to prepare. I mean, little or anything. What does that even mean? Little or nothing. Like, I did almost nothing. It's just pretty much saying almost close to nothing. I did close to nothing to prepare. So you say before exam that, oh, I didn't prepare. But if you put in 10% effort, 2% effort, you say I did little or nothing. It was almost nothing. I did little or nothing to prepare. They dash arrive before noon. They seldom or ever. This, what is seldom or ever? Seldom is very close to no. So you say seldom or never. It's like when you say 90 to 100% is like that. So it's almost like seldom or never is like saying 90 to 100%. But seldom or ever is saying 1 to 100%. It doesn't make sense because seldom is close to never. So it's almost like saying 90 to 100% this never happens. So just remember it like that. So they seldom or never arrive before noon. Seldom or never. He said little, if anything, or little if ever. Little if ever is nothing. So you say little if anything during the meeting. So that means he said like almost nothing. So you just remember it like that. It's almost like 90 to 100. So you can only when you're using, you use two numbers that are close to each other. So similarly in the English language also you use two words that are close to each other. So it should be seldom or never because they are both close to no, or seldom if ever. Again, if ever shows that it's almost never. Similarly, little or nothing, which means that it's very little or almost nothing only. And little, if anything, again, if anything means if there is anything that is also so small that it's questioning, if anything. So that's how you can try to remember these phrases. Okay. Now the rule 7. So this rule says that one should avoid double negatives in a statement. So in English language, using two negative words together in one sentence is usually wrong. Why? Because two negatives cancel each other and thus they make the sentence incorrect, and also it distorts the meaning of the sentence altogether. So some of the examples of negative adverbs would be never, nowhere, nothing, no one, nobody, seldom, rarely, hardly, scarcely, barely, neither, deny, forbid. So these words, they all have negative implications, and be mindful to not use two of these in one statement itself, because this will completely distort the meaning of the statement. There is one funky fact though, that these days it's gotten very cool to use double negatives, especially because of the rap songs. They've become so popular and they use language like, I remember there's this one by Kanye West that goes something like, "When I have money, then you can't tell me nothing." So can't and nothing in one line would be wrong according to the standard English grammar rules. But these rap songs, and then there is this African American vernacular English as well. So these double negatives might are correct according to that those set of rules, but the standard English grammar doesn't consider them right. For the rap songs, it makes sense because again they are rooted in the African American culture. The whole concept of rap songs, they represent a sort of rebellion, a sort of identity affirmation. So it's cool for them, it makes sense for them. But I see a lot of Gen Z's and people using them on Instagram and all these social media. I don't know, apparently it sounds cool, but I don't understand how is it cool. I mean, it's grammatically incorrect. At least we are following the standard English grammar, so it's incorrect according as per that. So these double negatives, I don't know how your generation considers it cool, but it is grammatically incorrect. And anything that is grammatically incorrect is not cool. You are not African American. As long as you are not, then I think you should rather stick to the standard English rules. And for exam purpose, so you should have no doubts in your mind. Stick to the standard English rules and be sure not to use double negatives. Okay. So I rarely meet anybody. Here, rarely and sorry, I rarely meet nobody. Here, rarely and nobody are both negative implication words and hence should not be used in one sentence. She hardly knows nothing. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Even in the Game of Thrones, the wildling is speaking in the correct grammatical language. So you should be mindful not to use two negatives in one sentence. She hardly knows nothing is wrong. Hardly and nothing, they both cannot be used. I don't go there seldom. Seldom and don't. Both are negatives and should not be used in one sentence. So the correct way to use these words would be, I rarely meet anybody. Remove the negative, the second negative, nobody. Or she hardly knows anything. Again, remove one of the negatives. They seldom come here. So remove one of the negatives. So the golden rule for you to remember is, don't use two negatives in the same sentence. Like for the charges, positive and negative go together. The opposite charges attract each other. So similarly for the English grammar, the positive word and the negative word should go together and not negative negative. Okay, you can remember that now. Now, these are not really the special case. This is just to make you more aware of these specific words so that you don't forget them. So don't use negative with the word deny, forbid, or both. So the words deny and forbid, they both represent negative. So if you use no, or another negative with these words, it will again become the double negative and hence grammatically wrong. And for the word both, there is another more appropriate word, neither. So using both and not again becomes incorrect because the word neither represents a better integration of the meaning. So let's see with the examples what I'm trying to say. So she denied that she had not helped him. So denied and not help him is double negative, and hence the statement is wrong. She denied that she had helped him. So here the sentence is trying to say that the person who's being asked is saying that this person has not helped the other person. So she's just denying helping the person. So she's denying helping, and if you say she's denying not helping, that means she's saying she's helped. She's helped. So it's completely distorting the meaning of the sentence. So deny already is negative, so it should have a positive following it and not negative. Okay, so she denied that she had helped him. That means she has not helped him. Similarly, both of us are not going. So both of us are not going is very confusing actually. Neither of us is not going is clear that neither us not, neither nor or whatever. Like if there are two of us, both of us are not going. But the right way of saying is neither of us is going. Clear enough. Okay. Don't use not with these conjunctions. Until, unless, and lest. Again, these are also having negative implications. So using not with them would again make it double negative and hence grammatically incorrect. So I will not go unless you come. So unless already means not. So double negative, hence wrong. So the right way would be I will go unless you come. Similarly, he didn't wait until she arrived. So it's incorrect because didn't wait and until. Didn't and until both are double negatives. He waited until she arrived. So the sentence that he didn't wait until she arrived is completely giving a different meaning. That means that he waited till the point she arrived. He didn't leave before. That's what the sentence is trying to say. But he didn't wait until she arrived means that he left before. So it's completely distorting the meaning of the sentence. So be mindful, do not use double negatives in one sentence. Let's see another example. Work hard, lest you should not fail. Now, lest itself means in order to prevent. So here, if you're saying work hard, so you should not fail, is saying that you work hard so that you fail. Well, this doesn't make sense. You're trying to say that work hard to avoid failure. So the right way to say is work hard lest you should fail. Okay. Now, I hope you've understood and you're not trying to be a rapper in your exam and you will follow the rule of not following the double negatives. So let's try to attempt this exercise individually by pausing this video at this point, and then we'll do it together in a couple of seconds. I mean, it's a couple of seconds for me, but you pause the video and take as much as time you need, and then you can start the video and we'll solve it together. Okay, so let's try to solve these questions together now. I hardly know nothing about the case. Now, hardly and nothing. Both are double negatives and should not be used together. So, you have to remove either of the two. I hardly know anything about the case, or I know nothing about the case. He does not seldom help his parents. So, again, does not and seldom. Both are negatives, and two negatives don't go together. So, he does not help his parents, or he seldom helps his parents. Third, she denied that she had not met him. So she denied, and not. Again, double negatives should not be used. So she denied that she had met him or she did not meet him either. But she denied she had met him would be a better way to go. We rarely see nobody in the garden. Again, rarely and nobody. Both are negative. So we rarely see anybody in the garden. He does nothing without never consulting her. Nothing and never can't come together in a sentence. So he does nothing without ever consulting her. Both of them are not interested. No, that's not the right way to say. Neither of them is interested. Both and not do not go together. Both and not do not go together. Unless you do not work hard, you will fail. So unless and do not, they don't go together. So unless you work hard, you'll fail. She barely spoke to no one at the party. Barely and no one. Double negatives should not go together. She barely spoke to anyone at the party. I don't know neither of them. Again, neither and don't go together because they are double negative. I don't know either of them. This will not succeed. Nothing never does. This is very wrong. This will not succeed. Nothing ever does, because nothing and never are double negatives. And since we are not rappers, we don't use double negatives in one statement. So I hope this rule is clear by now. So these are your solution and you can have a look at them. Now, rule 8. And in this, we'll discuss the use of very, much, so, to, enough, rather. So, how do we use very? There are three situations where the very word would be better to use with positive degree of adjective. We know the three degree of adjectives: positive, comparative, and superlative. So, positive is the most basic one. She is very kind. So, kind is the positive form of a positive degree of adjective. So, very can be used before that. He is very smart. Smart, smarter, smartest. Smart is the positive degree adjective, and hence we can use very before that. We can also use very with the past, present participles. So the movie was very interesting. So it's very tiring. So here the present participle interesting or tiring can be followed by very. Okay. The movie is very interesting. Sorry, it should be the movie is very interesting and not was very interesting. My bad. With some adverbs, especially the manner of or degree, it can the word very can be used. So she runs very quickly. Here again, the quickly is adverb, and we can use very before that. Or it's very well done. So very before well done. So these are the three conditions where we can use very: positive degree adjectives, present participles, and some adverbs. Now, where can we use the word much? Because very and much have pretty much similar meanings. So it's quite confusing at times where to use very and where to use much. So much is used with past participles when used as like an adjective. So much tired, much worried. Though today we usually use very tired and very worried in spoken English, but again, the more formal or grammatically correct way to go about it is much tired and much worried, with because the past participle is always followed by much. Similarly, with comparative adjectives, so much better, much worse, or much more beautiful. So these are comparative degree of adjective. The very is used with positive degree of adjective, but much is used with comparative degree of adjective and with superlatives for the emphasis. Much the best, or by far the best is also a way to say it, but much the best. It's not very common to hear phrases like much the best, but that's the grammatically correct way to go. Now let's see some examples. So it is a much interesting picture. Here interesting is present participle, and hence the word much is not correct because we use it with past participle. So the correct word here would be very. It is very interesting picture. I was very exhausted. Now, exhausted, I was very exhausted. My exhausted is past participle, and hence we will say I was much exhausted. Although I was very exhausted sounds correct because that's how we speak these days. But the grammatically correct way would be I was much exhausted, because exhausted here is past participle. She is much wiser than her mother. So here it is correct because the comparative degree has been used. So she is much wiser than her mother. Wiser is the comparative degree, wise, wiser, wisest. So before the comparative degree, we use much, and hence the statement is correct. She is the very best teacher. Now here the word very has been used for emphasis. It means something like really, she's really best teacher. And she is much the best teacher. Here again the word much has been used for emphasis. So the golden rule that you should remember is use very for simple and direct description, use much for comparisons and emphasis. So the second last statement that she is very best teacher could have been confusing for some of you, because we did that in the rules. We studied that the much has to be used before superlative, but when you are using very, you can use very for praise or for laying some emphasis. So but in this case the very should be preceded by the, so the very superlative, that's how this it should go. So the statement she is the very best teacher is correct. Similarly, for the superlatives, much the best is also correct. Much the superlative is also correct. That's the more formal or the grammatically correct way to go. So her painting was much the best in the gallery. It doesn't sound very familiar to the ear because these days nobody speaks like that, but this is the more formal way to go about it. But with superlative and using the and then very, again, that is also correct way to go. So if you come across a statement like she is the very best teacher, would also be correct, even though I've told you that with superlatives, much is used, because that's the thing with grammar. Anything can happen. Anyway, by far the best. Again, by far plus the plus superlative. That's also a correct way to go. So it's one of the most commonest way to, like, common most way to emphasize. Okay. So like if you want to say something is a clear winner. So this is by far the best book I've ever heard. So you don't have to really remember the exceptions because the questions are more centered on the rule. So just remember this much, that use very for a simple direct description, use much for comparisons and emphasis. Okay. This I just told you because sometimes you do come across statements like that and you might think it's wrong. But if the very best is there in case of superlatives, you have, like, you can keep it in your, like, mind. It would be better. But it's best that you remember at least this much. You must remember at least this much for this rule. Okay. Now, rule 8. Oh, wasn't that the rule 8? Oh, yeah, we're continuing with rule 8. So, how do we use so that or to? So, use so that to show the cause and result. So, if you're saying she is so poor that she cannot study, so the cause and the result, that her poverty is not letting her study. So, you use so that in the cause and effect relationship. Sometimes there is also the word so, just so, without that. It is not an adverb. In that case, it becomes a coordinating conjunction. So it also shows cause and effect, and it is different from the so that structure. When we do conjunctions, we'll do this more in detail. But I've placed this point here so that there is no confusion that so can be used. We use so alone as well. But so when used as an adverb, it is used with so and that because it tells a cause and a result. Similarly, with to show a negative result. So, in comparison of so that and to, you have to see if something is giving a negative implication, you use to. So, let's see, let's try to understand this with the help of an example. So, she is so healthy. Here, she is very healthy is a better way to go because there is like no so that kind of situation. Cause and result is not here. She is very healthy. She is too healthy. Here, if you're saying she's too healthy, that means you're criticizing that person. But if you're just saying she's healthy, if you're being just observant about this fact or saying it in a positive sense, then you say she is very healthy. And you better be positive about this, that if somebody is healthy, that's a good thing. No. So, to sounds negative. So, that's how you go about so that or to. Similarly, the word enough. Now, enough can be used both as an adjective and as an adverb. Its position in the sentence changes based on its function. So, when enough is used as an adjective, it modifies the noun. It tells how much or how many about the noun. So, it comes before the noun. For example, he has enough money. So, the word enough comes before the noun money. So, it tells how much money he has. He has enough. Like he'll be able to manage himself. So, he has enough money. We don't have enough chairs for everyone. So enough again as an adjective placed before noun because adjectives modify a noun. So how many chairs do we have? We have enough for everyone. So think of it like a quantity word, how much of something. When it is enough is used as an adjective. But as an adverb, it modifies an adjective or adverb. It tells to what extent. So it comes after the adjective or adverb it modifies. So she is wise enough to solve the problem, or he ran fast enough to catch the train. So, to what extent was he fast, or to what extent is she wise? So, as an adverb, it is used in this sense. To what extent? So, it is used after the adjective or adverb. So, you just have to see if the word is used in a statement, what is this word trying to modify, or which part of the statement is it trying to impact. So, accordingly, it should be placed close to that one. So this is one general way to go. Okay, so you can't say enough wise. The right way to go is wise enough. Similarly, it should be like after the adverb or adjective it is modifying. Okay. Now the word rather. So use rather to show moderation of degree. So like quiet or fairly. These are also very much similar meaning words. So she's rather intelligent. Like she's quite intelligent when you want to say, or she's like pretty much intelligent. You're not saying she's the most intelligent. She's very less intelligent. She's like moderately intelligent. He was rather disappointed. Like he's like quite disappointed. So this is one way to go. Or you can use the word rather with nouns also. It is rather a problem. It is rather a big shoe. So something like that. Use of a and a can go before or after rather. Like it's fine either way. Depends on the context. You can also use the word rather for preference. So I would rather stay home than go out. So you're telling your preference of staying at home over going out. She would rather eat fruit than junk food. So she prefers eating fruit over junk food. So these are the contexts where the word rather is used. So for exam, usually the preference kind of statements would be given, and you'll might have to like fill in the blanks. We'll do the exercises. So yeah, here are the exercise based on the rule 8 that we did right now. How we use the word very, much, so, to, enough, or rather. So at this point, pause the video and just try to fill in these blanks and see if you've understood these words or not. If you have not, anyway, you still attempt the questions, and if you're not able to understand anything, you go back and listen to the rules and then attempt the question at this point. Because if you follow this way, you will be done with the rule at this point itself. After this, you'll just have to revise maybe a couple of times and you'll be sorted for like in the exam. Okay. So pause the video. Okay, let's do the questions now. He is dash tired after the journey. He is too tired after the journey, but there is no negative two kind of implication here. So that could not be the correct choice. He is very tired because tired is positive adjective, positive degree adjective. Yes, so he's very tired. It was a dash interesting movie. It was a very interesting movie because again, interesting is present participle. She is dash poor to afford a phone. Afford a phone. Yeah. She's too poor to afford a phone because again, two and two. Here there's a negative implication. Her poverty is like not allowing her to get a phone. So two. She's too poor to afford a phone. This book is dash better than that one. This book is much better than that one because there is a comparison involved. This soup is dash hot that I can't drink it. This soup is so hot that I can't drink it because so and that are used when there's a cause and effect relationship. He has dash money to buy a new bike. So, how much money? Enough money. He has enough money to buy a new bike. So, here the word enough is modifying the noun money. So, he has enough money because so and that cannot come here. Two and two cannot come here. He has very money to buy a new bike is also not making any sense. He's much money to buy to make a new bike. To buy a new bike is again not making sense because there is no comparison done as such. She's intelligent to make that mistake. So she is too intelligent to make that mistake because she has committed a mistake. So there is a negative implication here. So she's too intelligent to make that mistake. That would be the correct choice. It is dash a shame that he left. It is rather a shame that she left. So here to emphasize, it's rather a shame that she left because it is enough a shame that she left. Doesn't make sense. How much shame? You're not telling how much shame. It's rather a shame that she left. I would dash walk than wait here. I would rather walk than wait here because you're telling a preference. I would rather walk than wait here. She is dash exhausted to attend the meeting. Here, she has missed the meeting. Some negative implication is there. So she is too exhausted to attend the meeting. Okay, this is the solution. You can have a look at it. And let's get to rule 9. Now, the rule 9 talks about the difference between to, as well, and also, so, and neither. So part A would be telling you the difference between to, as well, and also because they pretty much mean the same thing, that is in addition or besides. And these words are used in affirmative sentences and not in the negative ones. But the key difference lies in their position. So the word also, this is a very common mistake that students commit, that they place the word also at the end. So this word also should be placed before the main verb or right after the helping verb, but it should not be placed in the end of the sentence. So she also speaks French, or she has also visited Paris. So also cannot come at the end of the sentence. It's either before speaks or before visited. Now the word to, usually at the end of the sentence. She speaks French too. She speaks French also is wrong, but she speaks French too is the right way to go. So if you have to put the word at the end, then you cannot use the word also. You have to use to or as well. Also at the end of the sentence, but it is more forward way to go. So she speaks French as well. Okay. Now, the common mistake is she found her bag and money also. Like I said, also cannot be used at the end, also or has to be used before the main verb or the noun. She found her bag and also money. So, also before the noun money. Why? Because also must be placed closer to the main item that is being added, not thrown in the end like to or as well. So, you remember. Never, never, never use the word also at the end. She also found her bag and money. It's correct because also has been placed before uh, sorry, also has been placed before the verb. She found her bag and also money. Here again it's correct because also has been added before the noun. She found her bag and money too. This is again correct because two can be thrown at the end. Two to anyway it's negative implication. So just remember you can throw it. It's anyway not bringing anything positive. I mean it's just a way to remember. So two is at the end. Again, she found her bag and money as well. So as well, very much like two can be placed at the end. She found her bag and money also? No, also cannot be placed at the end. Okay, I hope it's clear. Now the use of word so. You have to use the word so plus auxiliary plus subject. This is the structure of how the word so is used. It is used when two people do the same thing. So it helps us avoid repeating the same sentence twice. Let's try to understand what this is with the help of examples. She won the prize and her sister won the prize also. If you want to talk about her winning the prize and her sister also winning the prize, and if you do not use the word so, in this way you'll be repeating it like see how long the statement is. But the right way would be she won the prize and so did her sister. So this is the structure how you can avoid repeating the statements by using so. So the structure goes so plus helping verb plus the subject that is being talked about. What are the helping verbs? Do, does, did, is or are, has or have. Yeah. So she won the prize and so did her sister. So we take a so, we take a did, and we use the subject sister because we are trying to say that both of them won the prize. His wife sings and so does he. I love books and so does my friend. So plus helping verb plus subject. If you want to talk about two people doing the same thing and avoid repetition, that's the way to go. So plus auxiliary plus subject. Auxiliary is same as helping mean helping verb. Okay. So plus auxiliary plus subject. Okay. Similarly, it's very similar with neither also. Neither plus auxiliary plus subject. So if you're using in negative sentences, then you can use neither plus helping verb plus subject. He doesn't play, neither do I. She will not come, neither will he. So it's not like she will not come, he will not come. It doesn't sound very good. She will not come, neither will he. I don't like horror movies, neither does my brother. Okay. Now let's quickly do this exercise. She dances well. She sings as well. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. Yeah. She sings as well or she sings too. He found his passport and his ticket. He found his passport as well as his ticket, or he found his passport and his ticket too, or his ticket as well. I love coffee and dash does my sister. So does my sister. She does not like chocolate and dash do I. Neither do I. I will visit the museum and dash my brother. So will my brother. She cooked dinner and dash dessert. She cooked dinner and what dessert? She cooked dessert and two dessert and also dessert because again now we are not at the end. We can put in also. They went to the fair and the zoo as well. Yeah, and the zoo too. Two and as well are sort of like replaceable in usage. He does not play cricket and dash does his friend. Neither does his friend. She reads novel and dash magazines. She reads novel and also magazines. You should call her and dash write an email. You should call her and also write an email. So this is your solution to the questions. Have a look at them. Now, rule 10. It sounds very simple, but it's like the trickiest one because in spoken English we do make this mistake. So you use yes or no because if you are using yes, use it for the positive use. You use no for the negative. You should not mix them. You should not say yes, I have not. That's wrong because yes, I have or no, I haven't. That's the way to go. So if somebody asks, have you taken food? So you say yes, You say no, I have not taken so far. Saying yes, I have not taken is wrong because yes and no should not go together. Okay. Because yes and no, just these. We have talked about positive and negative. That's a different thing. But yes and no, these specific two words here we're talking about, because that obviously confuses the listener. So don't say things like yes, I don't know, or no, I am coming. So it's very confusing and obviously it's grammatically incorrect. So if somebody asks, do you like coffee? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Both are the way to go. Are you coming today? No, I'm not. Did she call you? Yes, she did. Have they arrived? No, they haven't. So just like keep it simple. Yes and no don't go together. Specifically yes and no. Okay. Now choose a yes or no to begin the answer. This is very simple. Just like take a few seconds and solve this quickly. Okay, let's go. Have you completed your homework? No, I haven't finished it yet. Did he call you yesterday? No, sorry. Yes, he did. Yeah, because it's did and not didn't. If it were didn't, you would say no, he didn't. Yes, he did. Are they not going to the market? They are staying at home. No, they are staying at home. Will you join the meeting? No, I will not, because not is there, so you will write. No, you will have it. No. Does she sing well? Yes, she does. Or if it was saying she doesn't, then no, she doesn't. Have they not replied to your mail? No, they haven't replied yet. You will not say yes, they haven't replied yet. You will say no, they haven't replied yet. With yes and no, you keep the same tone because otherwise it will confuse. Haven't they received the parcel yet? So yes, they haven't. No, they haven't. No, they have. Which is the way to go? No, they haven't, because no and haven't, they will go together. Do not confuse it with the double negatives rule, because this is just with yes and no. The affirmative yes and no. This is specifically for yes and no. Okay, so do not confuse it with the double negative rule. Don't you like mangoes? Yes, I do. No, I like them. So no and I like them should not like go together because it's obviously confusing. I mean, it's commonsensical also. No, it's confusing. Are you feeling well today? Yes, I'm not feeling well. I mean, what are you trying to say? Like, are you feeling or not feeling well? So, no, I am not feeling well. So, that's coherent. That is more clear and hence grammatically correct. Okay, so that's the solution. And okay, we have one more rule left. So when you should avoid the use of word as, when it is to be used and when it is not to be used. This is the last rule. And again, one of the most commonly occurring mistakes. So when you're using the verbs like regard, define, describe, treat, view, know, then the word as is to be used. So these are the words that are saying how something or someone is seen, thought of, or treated. So you need as to connect the subject to what they are being considered. For example, I regard him as my brother, or she defined music as the language of emotions. They treated her as the guest of honor. He is known as a brilliant scholar. So here, something that is seen as to be like these two parts are being added. I mean, joined by the use of word as. So it's important to use the word as when you are when you are dealing with these verbs: regard, describe, define, treat, view, know. So the general meaning of all these verbs is more of like these are more description kind of thing. These are sort of describing. And where to avoid the word as, when you're using the verbs like name, elect, think, consider, call, appoint, make, choose. So these words do not take as before them as complement, because they are already including the idea of becoming or being something. So they don't need as to explain what the person is made or called. So let's see let's try to understand this with some examples. She was elected president. So you'll not say she was elected as president, because the word elected itself is complete enough to tell that she has been chosen as the president. Okay. So she was elected president. No as to be followed. They appointed him manager. No as to be followed. They appointed him as manager would be wrong. They appointed him manager, because the word appointed itself is completely giving the meaning. There is no need of as a connector. We consider her the best singer. Again, no need to use the word as. It's very common, so it sounds very correct to the ears, but be mindful, there is no need to use the word as here. He called me as a liar. No, he called me a liar because the word called itself is completely giving the meaning. She made him captain of the team. Okay, she made him as the captain of team would be wrong. She made him captain of the team. Now let's do this last exercise and we'll be done with the adverbs. Okay, so this is the last exercise of the day. So pay attention and let's quickly finish this. I mean, you pause the video and you attempt the questions on your own first, like we do with all the exercises, and then we'll do it together. Okay, let's see. So the first one says the jury regarded him a genius. So with the word regarded, it's sort of a description. So we'll use the word as. The jury regarded him as a genius. She was appointed as the head girl. The word appointed itself is like complete. It's giving the complete meaning. So there is no use of as in the statement. So she was appointed the head girl. We defined culture, the way of life. We defined culture as the way of life because with the word defined, again, these are defining, describing, observing sort of words. They need as a connector to make the complete meaning. So we defined culture as the way of life. They elected her as class representative. No, elected itself is complete. We do not need as to be followed by elected. They elected her class representative. The doctor treated him a guest. No, the doctor treated him as a guest. Okay, he considered her his rival because consider itself is complete and does not need to be followed by as. We described the painting a masterpiece. We described the painting as a masterpiece. Okay, the coach made him as team captain. No, like the making itself is complete enough, giving the whole meaning. So we do not need as to connect. So the coach made him team captain. She knows him a kind person. She knows him as a kind person. The children called him as their hero. No, the children called him their hero. The itself is established by the word called. Okay, so this is the solution to those questions, and I hope you have understood. And with this, we come to the end of our slide. And I would like to leave you with this thought that if adjectives dress up nouns, then adverbs are the fashion designers of action. They make everything look cooler, brighter, and more dramatic because they tell where something is, how something is, quietly, silently, immediately, or where, here, there, by the finish line. So they are sort of fashion designer. Just give a picture to the adjective. So you'll be able to figure them out and understand the rules that go along with them. So I hope you've understood how the adjectives, like what they are, where they are placed, and how to use them. So that's all for the lecture today. Thank you.